All right. Time to clip farm.
Yeah. What's that mean?
Clip farming is a new version of content creating where you say things to make people mad or happy.
Oh, okay.
That's sort of what these are going to do.
So we're trying to make people mad and happy?
Yeah. You want to strike emotion.
Yeah. Is this good right there?
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, I guess welcome back, because this is technically the playoff podcast. Different setup than the first time. We are here at Saco Middle School, but when you walk into an empty gym like this, what goes on through your head?
Yeah, I think about all the times growing up at my high school gym, trying to become the best basketball player I could possibly be, and knowing that champions are the ones who work the hardest when no one's watching. And yeah, I remember all those late nights at my high school gym when my custodian let me in, and yeah, all those times were great.
What part of yourself shows up even when nobody's watching?
Yeah, I think that's what separates the good athletes from the great athletes, the ones where if you're intrinsically motivated to be the best at something, then you're going to work as hard as you can, no matter if someone's in the gym or someone's not in the gym. Yeah, so for me, it was always just wanting to be the best basketball player I could be, and those times with myself in the gym were again like some of my most memorable times growing up.
So you basically played basketball your whole life, grew up in Wayne, Maine, and won 2 state championships, right? 2006, 2008.
Yeah, should have been 3.
Should have been 3. When I was born, you were winning state championships in 2006.
Yeah. Makes me feel old.
But you've stayed with it. You've stayed busy. Obviously, you went to college.
Yep.
You walked on at Maine, right? And then went to Keene.
So I was recruited by Maine, but they didn't have a scholarship available. So I was a recruited walk-on where I didn't have a
ChatGPT said walked on.
Yeah, ChatGPT. We got to fix ChatGPT.
So then you went and got drafted into the Canadian League.
Yep.
But now you're on a new journey, I guess, with these world records.
Yeah.
Do you feel closer to peace when you're chasing after something, whether it's to get that starting spot, whether it's to get that record, or do you feel more peace once you've earned it and you've got that record?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's peace in both of them. And I get peace from the process and knowing that it's a grind every day. And I think this record right here is one I'm most proud of because it took a while to achieve. And the first time, I know you were there the first time we did it, and we really weren't even close to the record. And I know a lot of people there, I don't think had high hopes that we were ever going to get to it, but I knew that we would.
Yep.
If we just kept working at it. And yeah, so everyone just kept showing up once a week for almost a full year. And then, so I think just that grind and that process brings me a lot of peace. But again, like at the end too, when you reach that goal though, and you have that feeling of all your hard work paying off. When you didn't know for sure, I mean, I had a good feeling we were going to get it, but you don't know for sure if you're ever going to reach the goal or not. So,
I remember the first time we even tried to do the free throw. I believe I was there at that first practice, and we were used to the three-point one, and it was much slower, but the free throw one was much faster. We couldn't even get you the balls in time to shoot at the pace that you were supposed to shoot at. But it is cool. We just kept showing up, and then eventually you go out and get the record.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool because just over time, just repetition, and back to that question about when nobody's looking, that's really, I feel like, what matters most, almost.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I don't think you can get any record if you're only training hard when people are watching. So, yeah. But the cool thing about that too, though, is that it wasn't just that I wasn't getting the ball in time, but also it was me learning a different shot because I had never shot free throws at a fast pace. Like anytime you're shooting a free throw, you're taught to take your time, and you have 10 seconds to shoot a free throw. So that's why that record was like a different skill and a different shot that I'd never trained before. But this one that we're going for November 10th, the high school threes, I mean, that's a shot that I've practiced my whole life, trying to do that at a fast speed, and same thing with the NBA threes. So those were 2 records that didn't take as much preparation in changing a skill, because it's a skill that I trained on for so long. But the free throw was just a different skill, which was cool to learn and do.
You say the free throws were a different skill, but not many people can say they led NCAA in free throw shooting percentage like you did. How do you think the repetition that you did in high school to college has sort of translated to now the repetition you're going for records, like records versus playtime? The repetition is definitely immense in both, but how would you compare those?
Yeah, I mean, it's all muscle memory. I mean, I've taken those shots so many times, but also it's being in great condition. So these are kind of the reasons why I take so much pride in these records, because I took pride as a player trying to be the player who was the most skilled player on the court and the player who was in the best shape on the court. And those are two things that I feel like you have control over on your own, to try to work on your skills and to work on your conditioning. And these records are, I mean, you need both. You got to be in great physical shape. You got to be mentally disciplined too, and obviously you got to be super skilled as well.
Sort of back to that mindset question about chasing versus getting the record. Who would you say you are before the record versus after the record?
Yeah, I think before the record it was me thinking it was something I could achieve, but feeling like other people didn't think I could. And then I think after the record, just other people now, I think, also believing that I'm one of the best shooters in the world. And I know this all kind of started with a conversation with some of my friends when someone was saying that Ryan's one of the best shooters in the world, and then some other people were like, well, if he was one of the best shooters in the world, he'd be in the NBA. Yeah, but I mean, now I think that it does show that I don't think there's too many shooters at that level.
When did you stop trying to prove something to start and try to become something?
Yeah, that's actually, I think that's a super hard thing to learn and to grow into. I don't think you don't want to do anything to impress other people or to prove anything to other people. And this all has just been more of a challenge for me. And like I said, I just love the process, and I love seeing hard work pay off. And it also teaches you to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It teaches you to learn the importance of failure. And I mean, we tried that record 38 times and failed every time. And if you don't bounce back from failure, then you never get the record that you want. So I think that just helps with everything in life too. I mean, when you fail, just to keep going, being resilient.
I think that's a great lesson for anybody to hear. What lesson took you the longest to learn?
I think it was that one.
That one?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted just to prove to other people, like I said, to prove to other people that I'm the best shooter in the world, to prove to other people that if I was taller, I'd be in the NBA, and I just always, but yeah, I think you're never going to be satisfied just trying to prove things to other people, and it's doing things that make you happy, and that's why even social media for me, I mean, social media wasn't something that made me happy, but it was something that I thought proved to other people that I was the best in the world, but I don't feel like that's something that I want to show anymore, or I need to show to other people. It's more me just doing it all for myself.
Yeah, you deleted your social media.
Yeah.
We can talk on that for a second.
Yeah.
How has that brought peace and joy into your life?
Yeah, I mean, like I told you earlier, I now have 90 minutes a day where, I mean, that's a rough estimate on the math that I was spending a day on my phone. And now I have 90 minutes where I have more time to go to bed earlier. I sleep better. I have more time to spend with my fiance. I have more time to just take my time getting ready for work in the morning. That's brought me a lot more peace. And
on the record, congrats, you proposed to your girlfriend, now fiance,
Yeah.
Mackenzie, shout out. But 90 minutes a day, you said. There's a lot of people out there, maybe some people who are watching this, who might spend 6, 7, 8 hours a day on social media. I know people who used to have like 10 hours of watch time. How do you think stepping back from social media and sort of, I guess, being more in the moment can improve your lifestyle and your mental state?
Yeah, well, it's just being present and being in the real world and living your life
Yes.
rather than just living life through your phone and through social media. Yeah, it's brought me a lot more peace. It's also, I think it's natural to compare yourself to others when you're on social media. Everyone's posting things that is the best version of themselves, and they're posting to please other people and to make people just think that what they're doing is great and that they're great. And so obviously you see their best versions of themselves, and you're always trying to stack up to that. And when your life doesn't seem as good as theirs, then I think it hurts your confidence. And that's just right when I felt that, I was like, something's wrong with this, and this is stupid. Why am I comparing my life to these other people?
So 2 points off of that. People aren't going to post their bad days. They only post their good days, or a majority of people only post their good days. And as somebody who uses social media for work, you sort of understand the algorithm, but also now the people who are creating content, it is designed to grab your attention and take your attention, and that takes you outside of the real world, and you're pushed, whether it's something awesome or I feel like the more common aspect of social media is comparing yourself to people and you feel worse about yourself.
Yeah.
And so I think it is a huge thing. I think there's great parts of social media, just like this, for example, and also I can make a living off of social media, but there's a huge, huge dark part of social media that I think we could have a whole discussion, a whole entire podcast on social media and how it affects. It is actually Mental Health Awareness Day, I believe. I saw Jason Tatum and Celtics post something about that.
Okay.
But anyways, back to the records and back to what we're truly here for. What's the difference between discipline and obsession?
I think obsession is, if you're being obsessed with the results and not obsessed with the process, I think that's probably the big thing when people get hooked on obsession. I think they're obsessed on just trying to get the results, and their focus is on the results, and their focus is not on things that they can just control. And especially a team sport like basketball, you can't always control, you don't have full control over wins and losses for your team. You have full control over you putting the time in on your own. You have full control over you being the best teammate you can be. You have full control over trying your best to hold your teammates accountable. But you don't have full control over what they do in their own time. And so I think if you are obsessed with the results and you're judging your worth based on your team's wins and losses, then that's not a healthy way to approach it. But if you're just disciplined in understanding that focus, and disciplined in understanding that you can only do what you can control, and spending time with your focus in that, that's kind of, I feel like that's more discipline. And obsessed, when someone says that they're obsessed, I feel like they're obsessed with the results.
So, like you said, you took over 30 plus attempts to try and get this. Some could say you're obsessed, but I've been to the practices. I think that's where you can sort of determine the line between obsession and discipline, is we're in the moment every single time. You are chasing after that result and you're obsessed with that result, but you understand how important the process is. Without those 36?
38.
38 attempts, you wouldn't have this record, and who knows, but the process is what requires the discipline. I could relate to that with, obviously, social media and creating stuff. It's all about the process. If you chase results, sort of back to the social media conversation, you're going to be miserable. If you're looking at all the views and all the likes, you're going to be miserable. But anyways, this is a podcast about you, not me.
Keep going.
We'll we'll go back. Do you have a hard stop at 4?
We can go a little after.
Okay. What does a good day look like when nobody's counting those makes?
What do you mean? When?
Let's say you're shooting. Let's say you're thinking of another record to do, but you don't have Ian handing you the ball. You don't have this group of people, and it's just yourself. What does a good day look like? Or I guess you could say versus a bad day, but what would a good day look like shooting? But it doesn't necessarily have to be about basketball, but when nobody's there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, my goal is to be in the best shape I can be in and the best shooter I can be in, so I can break as many records as I can. So for me, when I do have rebounders and I do have the team to help me practice for a specific record, that's obviously the best, but there's times where I can't have, it's just not realistic to have 5 guys with me every single day. And honestly, I don't shoot it. I used to shoot every single day, but now I'm a once a week guy that I'll shoot. And the other days, I'm just trying my best to keep myself in great physical shape. But when I am shooting by myself, I think it's a successful day if I'm taking a lot of shots at a fast speed and I'm tired and I'm working on shooting when tired. The biggest challenge with these records is not shooting in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but shooting when I can't speak anymore in the last 25, 30 minutes. And yeah, so I think that's what separates people that can break these records and people who can't. There's a ton of great shooters out there, and I'm sure there's a ton of great shooters that could stick with me for the first 5 minutes, maybe stick with me for the first 15, 20, but the amount that can stick with me for the full hour is maybe nobody.
Yeah, I had some questions about that, like what's going on through your mind when minute 37 passes.
Yeah.
Is there really anything, or are you just stuck in a flow state?
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it's actually really funny. I was just talking to Perry Dismore yesterday. He's the guy who had the world record before me, and we said a lot of the same things. So we just took it 1 minute at a time. So we both had to do the math. I know when he broke his record, he was trying to make 41 shots every minute, and he had to do the math in his head. And he had someone telling him if he was on pace or not. And same with me when I was doing it. It was 42. I had to make 42 shots a minute to beat 2,461. So it's just really 1 minute at a time, and you can't focus on knowing that you have 45 more minutes to shoot. It's got to be you doing your best in minute 15, then you're doing the best you can in minute 16. And the best part about it is if you have a tough minute, then there's no time to think about that minute. You're on to the next minute.
Sort of a similar question, but I would say, what do you think exists in between that when you're doing a record, what exists between that last shot going in and you picking up the ball and that leaving your fingertips? What's going on up there? What exists when you're in the middle of it?
From the shot to the ball going in?
Yeah, and just going to get the next one.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been practicing meditation for the past since I got off social media. That's one thing I've spent time doing is actually meditating instead of being on social media. And the reason why I'm doing that is to practice being in the moment, practice being present, and I believe it's actually helped me a lot with these records too. And I really don't think I think about, like, nothing comes into my mind other than just next shot, and my mind doesn't wander at all. Like, I'm truly like locked in and zoned in on one shot at a time. And I know when I'm shooting free throws, I'm just focusing on snapping my wrist and my same knee bend, and it's consistent. It's a knee bend, a snap, and on to the next ball. And that's.
Do you feel connected to something maybe greater than yourself when you're shooting, or when you're in that flow state?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just feel like I'm in a zone. I feel like I'm not really thinking about. I know how people say that men can go into a nothing box and women can't. I feel like I'm in a nothing box when I'm shooting. Like, there's just like outside noise, like nothing. I don't know if someone's walking past me on the side. I don't know. It's me counting numbers in my head. It's me, like when I'm meditating, it's me like feeling my breath go from the bottom of my body to the top of my body. And here I'm just focusing on numbers in my brain and my knee bend and my follow through.
Yeah, it is. Now that you mention it, it does have a lot of commonalities with meditation. You're in that where you're not thinking about anything, and I feel like when you're meditating, you're trying to reach that awareness state where you're not necessarily thinking, but you're just being almost. And I feel like 3 minutes in, 5 minutes in, 50 minutes in, you can sort of, you're not thinking about whatever conversations we were having right at the start. You're just thinking about next shot, and it's really cool. I think there's a lot of things in other people's lives, my life, your life, that you can do that can get you towards that state. Whether, like for me, for example, it would be, let's say, editing or something where I'm not thinking really, you're just doing. So I think that is something that's very powerful, and finding something that can distract you, or not distract you, but bring peace to you, is very valuable. For you, I would say, do you feel like this is necessarily your calling, basketball and shooting? Do you feel like something like called you upon to do these records?
Yeah, because I think it's bigger than just basketball. I think there's just so many life lessons that you get from sports, and I just know if you have, and I think the biggest thing is just helping others, right? I think the biggest thing is helping others find their passion, and my passion is basketball, my passion is athletics, but I think if you have a passion in something, you just learn so many life skills. You learn hard work, you learn empathy for other people, you learn discipline, resilience, and I think without a passion, you don't. Those are skills that are harder to learn and practice.
What are you trying to leave behind with these records?
I think just that anything is possible, almost anything, you can do almost anything that you truly put your mind to, and it doesn't come overnight. It's a process. Things take time, but I think if you really, really want something and you put your mind to it, and you put your mind to just becoming better every single day and every single second, and just trusting the process, and things take time. You don't notice improvement after one day. You don't notice improvement after 1 week or 1 month. Sometimes it takes years before you even notice improvement, but it's trusting the process. It's being better every day, being the best version of yourself.
They say you improve 1% every day. That's 365% in a year. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good progression rate. If someone only remembered one thing about you, what would you want it to be?
I think that I'm selfless. I think it's something that has always been a balance in my life, or a tough balance, wanting to be the best basketball player I could possibly be, and finding that act with being selfless too. And so it's hard being the nice person, but also being the guy on the team, where sometimes you gotta discipline, or you gotta hold your teammates accountable, or maybe you're taking a shot that is the best shot for the team, but it's you shooting, when really a selfless person might find somebody else. So that was, I think, the big thing for me was, I don't think, like in college especially, I didn't take as many shots as I should have, and the reason why is because I was so focused on being selfless. And so I think that kind of negatively affected me. So I think I was always just trying to find the balance of being the best version of myself with being selfless.
Yeah, you technically were coaching me when I played, and I can relate to that, because when I was playing, I always just tried to pass it to somebody who I knew could shoot it better, was more confident to shoot it, and that can sort of, you can breeze over what you could have been almost, and sometimes you have to know when to be selfless versus understand your value.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a tricky thing. My next question is, you've had now almost 3 records. We're going to be going for another one here, November 10th. What does success feel like? Not sound like, what does success actually feel like?
I think it feels like hard work's paid off. It feels like all the time that you spent in, and it paid off, and it gives you confidence that when there's other things in life that you struggle with at first, that you can get better at it. And even though at the time it seems maybe impossible, I mean, something for me was public speaking, something that 10, 15 years ago, there's no way that I would have been able to do it. And I think just the more you do that, and again, like same thing we talked about earlier, but just getting 1% better every day, and those are things that eventually, like I never would have thought that I would be able to be talking to the amount of people that I've, like with all these basketball shooting world records and the lectures I've been able to give with it in front of hundreds of people, like that was something that I would not have been able to do 10 or 15 years ago, or even thought was imaginable. So I don't even know if that answered your question. But
What does success necessarily feel like? So you could say, how does it feel now to become better as a public speaker than you were then? Obviously, I don't think you are where you want to be still,
right.
But how does it feel being at the point you are now versus the point you once were?
I think it feels like there's optimism. Like it's optimism in that you can continue to learn and continue to get better, and that even where you are now is not your best. Like you're learning your entire life. I think growing up when you're a kid, I think you feel like adults sometimes, or at least I feel like adults knew everything, but yeah, you're a lifelong learner, and you're a lifelong at improving at things that you do, and just knowing that you can keep getting better, and then if you just keep putting the time in one day at a time.